What's up, YouTube? Kedris here. This is my preview for Nottingham Forest versus Manchester City. This match is set to take place on March 4th at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester. And it's going to be a difficult one, guys. It's going to be difficult. So here we have the Manchester City injuries. They will be without Mateo Kovacic, the midfielder, without Vasco Gvardiol, the center back, and without Erling Haaland, the most expensive striker in the world, which is can only be a good thing for us. Also, they'll be without Nico O'Reilly, the up-and-coming star that they were playing. He's moved from left back to midfield and unfortunately suffered an injury playing Leeds United. I feel bad for the kid, but got to move on. Looking at the Nottingham Forest injuries, we have the usual suspects: John Victor, Nicholas Savona, Chris Wood, Willie Bolly, and a new addition in Stefan Ortega. He will be taking the roster role of Matt Sells, who is back from injury. Does he look like he's back from injury? I don't know. But some news coming out of the woodworks. Savona will be undergoing knee surgery within the coming month. We expect him to be out for another 2 to 3 months after the knee surgery for recuperation and recovery. I don't plan on seeing him the rest of the season, but we may get a few games at the end. Chris Wood is also scheduled to be back in April towards the end of the season. I know. A lot of people have placed their hopes on Chris Wood. I personally would like for us to figure out our problems and solve them before he gets back. But hey, that's just my preference. Who knows? Looking at the Manchester City lineup, this is what I think they will go with. I don't know how strong Pep is going to go, especially with having to play Wednesday and then play again in the weekend. But this was the starting lineup. Once O'Reilly got injured, Reinders was subbed on. So that's what I assume it's going to look like. They've gotten better defensively after the signing of Mark Gahey, but are still very susceptible to getting goals scored, especially if you attack the right side where Ait-Nouri is. Ait-Nouri is a very creative player going forward, but defensively, it's kind of very lacking. So if we can attack this right side, I think would be a good opportunity for us to put some pressure on Man City. The common misconception I seem to find when it comes to Manchester City is that people think, oh, we just low block, counterattack, and that's how we deal with Man City. And although that is effective, kinda, the actual way you want to beat Man City is actually to block out the middle of the park. So that's why I don't really want us to play a three-back system. I just think it takes away a personnel in the middle of the pitch. And yeah, you got a lot of chopping and changing and interchanging between these players, but a 4-2-3-1 easily deals with that if the players are tactically positioned correctly. And I will talk about that when we get to us. But Semenyo is on a tear right now, scoring goals for fun. Cherky, although kind of not really in the lineup until Haaland got injured, is there producing and is a very creative outlet. Reinders coming in is the guy who scored the goal that made us lose the first time we played them. But he's not really a creative force. This midfield is very workhorse-like, but not very creative. Rodri is not back to his imperialistic form yet. He is still kind of, I would say, above average defensive midfielder. Great defensively, but outside of that, not really producing much. Which makes sense with the injury he had. Bernardo Silva, every time I watch him play, seems to be getting older and older. And it's showing in the work rate he puts in. I mean, don't get me wrong, he works hard. But what I'm talking about is, that when players give that extra little foot, that extra little yard of effort, it seems to be catching up with him. And he's doing good. He's doing his best. But it's you know, it is what it is. Looking at the back line, Nunez has been looking good, but like I said, at least on the wings, you can definitely get at these guys. So if I was Pereira, I would definitely target the wing area, fullback areas, especially down the right side where Ait-Nouri is. All right, so now we get to the fun part where we have to figure out what formation Vitor Pereira is going to use. Like I said before, I don't see a three back being the answer right now. We just don't look like we utilize it appropriately. We don't look like really creating much, and we need to keep as much offensive power as we can. Also, I don't think a three back works against Manchester City. It's just the way that they play doesn't lean itself to a three back system being the answer to how to solve them. Looking at the goalkeepers, Matt Sells, yeah, he's back, but he does not look 100% guys. I want to see Angus Gunn in goal. I feel like Sells has been injured the entire season and hasn't really got a good chance to recover to 100%. We really need to start. We have 8 days after this break because we're not out of the FA Cup to let these players rest, which a lot of people would be like, hey, well, then put the stars out there. Listen, I want a performance. I want players who want to be out there, who want to attack, who want to prove themselves. I need players who are tired, who look tired, to take a seat on the bench, maybe come on as a sub. They need the rest. And I know 8 days are coming up, but they need every single minute of rest. And to be honest with you, some of them look like they're failing right now. Moving on to center backs, I'll tell you two people who are not feeling right now: Milinkovic and Murillo. Murillo needs to clean up the passing. I already talked about that. But outside of that, I mean, energy wise, he's definitely been saved for minutes and looks pretty decent right now. Doesn't look unhealthy. He hasn't even got the Murillo limp that he usually gets whenever he fucking plays. So he is in really good shape, and I expect both of them to be key factors in this match. I especially think if Milinkovic can kind of get a hold of Marmouche, that really limits Marmouche's threat. Marmouche is really good at running in behind. He's not a very physical striker, so if Milinkovic can kind of keep hold of him and dominate him, I think we could see some good defensive ploy. I do worry about Semenyo, but I can only tackle one problem at a time. Moving on to the fullbacks, Luca Nets has to start for me. Nico Williams looks absolutely poo pooed. And it really, really reared its ugly head at the start of that match on Sunday. Nets looked good enough. He looked fine. He needs to start. I would play Aina on the right, although I have my qualms about Aina. Nico Williams he just needs to rest. If anything, honestly, I would think about starting Jair Cunha at right back if you really, because he's looked really good. I think he's aggressive enough that we can play him there. My only problem would be, can he really keep up with Semenyo's pace without causing a foul? I don't know. I would rather have Ina, who can kind of be have more agility to deal with a winger like Semenyo. But I mean, you can also have Nico Williams kind of sub on at the 60th minute. This is what I would prefer personally. Moving on to midfield, I don't want to see Anderson play. I think he needs a rest. I think he needs a break. I think he needs something. He just needs to. I don't know what he needs to do, but he needs to do it now. What does that mean? That means Dominguez needs to come in. I think having one half of a crack is not good enough. Pereira needs to look at these guys some more. Dominguez, for me, needs to come in and play. I'd like to see a rendition of Sangare. I don't think what he showed us on Sunday is what he's capable of. I would also like for Sangare to be subbed off relatively early, preferably for Anderson, because I think he is also suffering from that fatigue issue. But he's just so defensively important that I think he needs to be on the pitch. One of them, either Anderson or Sangare, need to be on the pitch at all times. So I would start with Sangare, let Anderson rest, and then let Anderson come on and affect the match later on. I think it honestly would be good for him and his confidence as well. I really do. I did play with idea of starting Yates, but I just think in a match like this with such high quality players who can take free kicks, I don't really want Yates giving those away so easily and so cleanly. I'd rather not go with Yates. I'd rather go Dominguez, someone who I know can like be a terrier and like attack and help out Luca, especially Luca Nets. Even though he hasn't started in the Premier League yet, So I would like Dominguez to go out and help him. Maybe in the wings, like I said, I would attack that right side. I would play Hutchinson again, even though he got pulled off, he got subbed. I would still play him. He's should be better rested, only playing like 60 minutes or whatnot. So I would play Hutchinson, and then I would play Ndoye. And a lot of people think Cho had a good performance. I didn't. I wasn't one of them. He needs defensive help down here in Luka Nets. I want to start him. I want to see him play, but I'm also very aware that this is his first Premier League start, and it's against a really big, well, I'd say big club, but a club that's in the top six of the Premier League. So for me, at least, I want him to have all the defensive help he can get. And to me, that the answer is Dominguez. The answer is Luka Nets. To me, at least, this is defensively sound, especially with Morgan Gibbs White coming back to help a lot. And this covers all the weaknesses in the areas I think need covering, while also providing rest to the players who need it. As for the striker, I've said this many times now. I think it needs to be Taiwo Wani. He needs to play. He needs to start. Pereira, you need to quit fucking around, buddy. You got to start him. He's got to play. So this is my formation. I think it does everything I want to do. It attacks the areas I want to attack, and it defends everything that I want to be defended. I think we can get a result in this match, and with the players I have in here, players who are hungry, players who want to prove themselves, I think we could get something out of this. I really do. At least a draw. I think we can get at least a draw. I'm thinking 1-1. So I kind of put the score in the back part of that formation part of the video, but there was a draw 1-1. I think we really can get something out of this. I think we need some positivity going into this 8-day break. We're not at this moment in time, we are not trained to be in a back three formation. So I would prefer not to see it. We just the positioning is all off. What the players do is just it's clear that we don't have enough training in it. So I would like to see this 4-2-3-1. I wouldn't mind because he's got 8 days to work with the players. Obviously, players will need rest, but you can not do training drills. You can just do tactical walkthroughs with players, and that's what I think is really needed. If Pereira wants to implement a three-back formation, he needs to take the 8 days to do that. I do walkthroughs as much as I can. But outside of that, this is what needs to be shown on Wednesday against Man City. I don't want to see a three-back, and to be honest with you, I'll be really pissed off if that's the lineup.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
But hey, let me know what you think. Should we go to a three-back? Should we stay with a four-back? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. And, I think we can get something. Come on, you Reds!